So, we're in the fucking shoe again. This time we're in the state and we're in an old prison. 150 years old. You know what? I don't know fucking how old that joint is. I believe they had a 150-year anniversary when I was there, and that was 1989. So, like, I don't know, some Civil War type shit. So, big old castle, old bars. Anyway, we're in the fucking shoe again. Little mix up with some stuff. Funny story. So we're in the shoe. Now, I've said before, when you're in the shoe, you get kind of bored and this and that. One of the things we do is we can play Battleship, which is easy, or play chess, something. So it's easy enough to do. Just to take a pencil, you get a little golf pencil, right? And then make yourself a chessboard and put your numbers and letters on there. And then you can just call out your moves, right? Like playing Battleship or shit. You don't need the actual stuff. You can just do it. Just draw it out and just do it. Or some of the chess guys are so good. They know the chessboard. They know the numbers. It'll be like King 2 to Rook fucking whatever. And you know what I mean? So anyway, we're in the shoe. And there's the first cell, my buddy the Frog, right? I call him the Frog. I'm not going to get into details because we're not going to name drop in this stuff. But the Frog is here, and I'm in here, and there's this old school convict, KC. He's rest in peace. He's deceased now. But we're talking about, I was in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. We're talking about a dude we call had a 5-digit number, right? These are old school convicts that have been down since the 40s and 50s and 60s and shit. Anyway, KC was old school. Nowadays, in more prisons and modern prisons, some of these guys are cool with the guards or whatever. And I don't know. A lot of the mentality has changed, but not KC. KC was old school dude. And KC hated the cops. KC was in there not because of misbehavior. KC's in there because he's locked in there. He's locked in there for years. You heard the old adage about being welded in your cell. Now, in this particular place, there were a number of guys like Hillbilly Jim and some others that they didn't let out. There's some dangerous people in prison. It happens. For the most part, people kind of get along, but there are some dangerous people in there, a few. And so, anyway, KC's in there, and he's got a hair lip, right? He's talking like this. So he talking like this, but he's a dangerous fucking dude, man, straight up. And the guy hates cops like crazy. So anyway, him and the Frog had been playing chess here and there and here and there and here and there. Well, anyway, Frog is up at one point, and he wants to play some chess because he's sleeping. See, our sleep schedules they ain't no schedules. You sleep when you're freaking tired, but you try and sleep a lot, actually. Sleep is your escape. That's your escape. When you're asleep, you could be on the beach with somebody. You could be, who knows what. As a matter of fact, there's few crimes amongst prisoners in the joint. One of them is waking somebody up. Okay? If somebody's sleeping, you don't wake them up. Unless it's chow time or they got a visit or something like important. Otherwise, you don't do that. That can be seen is like a criminal act against your fellow man. Because, they might have been just laying on the beach somewhere, sipping a pina colada, and you went and brought this motherfucker back into reality, into his cell. So anyway, you don't want to do that. That's a no-no. But lots of people do a lot of sleeping in the shoe. Some people just stay up and beat on their fucking bars or shake their doors all day long. Anyway, so Casey's sleeping, but Frog, he's during a long stretch and he wants to play chess, but Casey's sleeping. So he's got to manage a way to get Casey up, some type of house so he can do this, right? So Frog's in the first cell. I'm in the second cell. Casey's in the third cell. And the bulkhead is right here. And that's where the guard is. The guard's in the bulkhead. So Frog gets it in his head, his idea. He goes, hey, Screw. Because Casey used to call them screws and hacks. Nowadays we just call them cops or the 5-0 or whatever. But he called them screws and hacks. Dude's old school. So Frog goes, hey, Screw, I got a fucking headache and I need some aspirin. Now, in the old days, some of the guards, they would have some cold medicine or some aspirins or some things like that. If it wasn't, especially in the shoe, when they're a little reluctant to take you to the doctor's or a nurse's visit or whatever. So the cops would have a little bit of shit on hand. So that's funny. So the Frog's like, hey, Screw, I got a fucking headache and I need some fucking aspirin. And the cop's like, all right, well, give me a minute or whatever. Casey's down here sleeping. So in a little while, you hear the keys in the bars. The guard comes down and he goes to Casey's cell, who's sleeping, and hits on the bars. Bang, 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 bang. And Casey gets up. You can just imagine the look on his face. Couldn't see it because we're all like this, Okay. But Casey gets up and he goes, what the fuck is your problem? And the cop's like, here's your aspirins. Here's your aspirins. Casey goes, slap the fuck off. He's like, I ain't asked for no fucking aspirin, you goddamn fucking Screw. What the fuck is... we're trying to be quiet. We're laughing. We're rocking. He's going off, and the cop was like, well, fuck you, motherfucker, and threw the aspirins in there and then left. And so after a while, things settled down. Casey's mad. He's kicking shit around. And Frog's like, hey, Casey, what was that all about? He goes, I don't fucking know. That goddamn fucking Screw lost his mind. The motherfucker come up, hit my bars, wake me up, and try to give me some motherfucking aspirin. And we're like, man, that's fucked up. That guy, man, he must be got a screw loose, being a screw and all. And Frog was like, well, all right. And he let things settle down a little bit, and he says, well, hey, brother, being as you're up, why don't you just, go ahead and make yourself a cup of coffee and let's see if we can get a chess game going. He's like, all right, but that motherfucking got we got him up. Anyway, that's the prison for story for the night. And good night, convicts. And remember, we're all prisoners, but sometimes it feels good to feel free.